of the top volleyball programs in the American Athletic Conference collide today in Wichita, Kansas. The Bearcats in town, 6-0 in conference play, tied for the top spot in the league. They square off against last year's champions. The Shockers 1 year ago went unbeaten in their inaugural season as members of the American. Right now sitting at 4-2 in a three-way tie for third behind the Bearcats and UCF. We take a look at the standings here midway through conference play. Todd Dagenet and the Knights helped get him his 200th victory as a head coach as they remain 6-0, tied with Cincinnati at the top. ECU picked up its first loss in a couple of weekends. That's because these Shockers snapped their 5-match winning streak. That pulls the Shockers into that three-way tie with Tulsa and ECU. Tulsa picked up a loss back on Thursday night against these Bearcats, who continue to be road warriors. Lincoln Rose, along with former Beach standout and former USC Trojan Adam Jansen. No offense with the former, as still can certainly swing at a ball as good as anybody out there on the sand. But AJ, we take a look at this matchup, as good as it gets here on a Sunday, to take in these two powerhouses.
Well, and you've got two powerhouses. You know, last year Wichita on top of the game. This year Cincinnati. Two powerhouses colliding. It's an away match for Cincinnati. We'll see how they do in Wichita.
Mentioned Cincinnati pulled off the 4-set win at Tulsa. Let's take a look at the keys of what it'll take to pick up another road match victory here today.
Well, for Cincinnati, out of system setting, need to maybe make sure that when they're stepping in to set the ball, they're not setting it too tight, too far off. Real consistency there. Serving, they gotta just serve tough. Chavita, one of the best liberos in the game, on the other side of the net, take her out of the game. They got solid play. Consistency with their inset system playing. When the pass is good, not always going to one spot, moving it around.
How about for the home side, as these Shockers again trying to remain in the hunt for a title back-to-back years?
They're going to try and slow down Thompson, and that's about all they can do. In doing so, they got to watch out for the rest of Cincinnati. Consistency, they're point for point all the way through. They're losing 4 or 5 points, and right towards the end of the game, they got to stop that. Only get down to 2 points maybe. Win the serve and pass battle. That's going to be their success.
Well, you've already heard their names here at the top of the broadcast. A couple of players that we will be keeping a watch on. Jordan Thompson, as just a junior, is already shattering career records here in the American as well as for the Bearcats program.
And a huge comeback for her, you know, after being out all last season. She's got some international experience in her. She's bringing that kind of experience into the Cincinnati team. Her players around her, teammates around her, love and see that.
And across the way, somebody who'll try to be digging up her shots, the talented libero, one of the top 3 right now in the nation in digs per set, Giorgia Civita, the Italian.
Civita, the Italian stallion, 80% passing efficiency. Solid, one of the best in the country. Shockers are really going to need her tonight.
What a clash we have coming up here on the American Digital Network, live from Wichita, Kansas. The Shockers looking to defend their home court against the Bearcats of Cincinnati. Next.
How do you drive impact for 200 years? By doing it boldly. By building a bridge, breaking a barrier, planting a flag, owning a stage. Because here, we learn by doing and believe the status quo was built to be broken. So be proud, be bold, be Cincinnati. We're 2 centuries in, and we're still creating what's next. We are boldly Bearcat.
Back in Wichita, about to get underway. For the first time today, we have a chance to check in with Nicole Fine. Nicole?
Yeah, leaving quite a few injuries for the home team, the Wichita State Shockers. I was speaking with head coach Mark Lamb before the match. He says that setter Carli Nolan is out. She suffered a non-contact knee injury on Friday against East Carolina, so Cora Colling will be taking most of the action at setter. Megan Taflinger will not play in the front row. She could see a few rotations in the back row, and both middle blockers, Abby Pugh and Emma Wright, are not expected to play. As for the Cincinnati Bearcats, no injuries whatsoever. I spoke with head coach coach Molly Alvey. She says that they're going to be focusing on cleaning up some few little errors with their offensive game, as well as focusing on serving. So going to be one heck of a match. I'm looking forward to it. All throughout the match, we're going to be asking questions on Facebook, and we'd love to hear from you. Our first question is a poll. It deals with which coach has been at their current program the longest. You should have comments as you can.
Nicole, thank you very much. Again, some significant news there in terms of the health as it applies to both teams. That includes the fact that Carli Aiken is out, the transfer from Louisville, who had integrated herself so well into this defending championship squad for the Shockers. So they will miss that Kansas City, Missouri native. Meanwhile, well, you're not going to get much sympathy from the Bearcats when you talk about losing players to injury. Number 23 was a dynamic player they were without all of last year, and that changes your entire rotation and mindset, as was the case last year for the Bearcats when they went 13-19, 11-9 in conference. Well, a year later, they are 15-4 already, 6-0 with Thompson back in the fold. Lincoln Rose, Adam Johnson back with you, along with Nicole Fye courtside. And those Shockers, you know, we talked to both head coaches. Chris Lamb of Wichita State talked about this is a group that actually, he's proud of how hard they work. They probably fight more than last year's championship team fought, because they have to. They can't just walk into the building and leave with a victory just based on talent.
Well, and Coach Lamb, you know, they graduated a few seniors that were solid core players for the team. And when you have that situation like that, your incoming class and the returners really need to step up their game. And like he said, they're fighting for every match they can, every game they can, every point they can, and that could be a positive.
And you point out, everybody will talk about the, you know, Mount Rushmore of Wichita State volleyball players that they graduated, but they also lost some significant talent at that next level as well that helped support them on their run. Underway here in the opening set, of course, first to 25 rally scoring must win by a pair in this first frame. And Shockers on the right side wearing the home black. And looking for that back corner, and that time Chivita just cannot keep it playable on the back row, as the opening kill currently courtesy of the right hand of the freshman from Chesterfield, Michigan, Maria Malin.
Yeah, Maria Malin really getting on top of that ball on the right side, just past the defense of Chivita.
Free ball for the Bearcats, and they can't take advantage, so they'll split the opening points. Shockers on the board as the serve will go to a freshman in their own right in Grace Birkin.
And Abby Pugh, Cora Calling, finding the tight set right there and finding the open spot in the defense, Cincinnati.
Calling redshirted last year, still a freshman for this program. A big swing, but a great dig. Shockers still with this point alive. And able to find space right down that line up front. Great presence and accuracy from Alex Kuhn.
And you saw Alex Kuhn prior play just bombing one angle, hits a nice off-speed shot down the line for a point.
Last 2 points for the Shockers here in front of the partial home crowd in Wichita. From the back row, Thompson. 6th rotation player in Jordan Thompson. It is hard to get her off that court, but right now Shockers on a run, looking to land an opening blow against unbeaten Cincinnati.
And if you want to beat a team, you beat them at the net. And Alex Kuhn up on that block on the left side, reaching an angle. Great block.
Set from Tingelhoff. And Thompson, they say, able to find space, and they're going to challenge early here. That green card did not reside long on the bench of Chris Lamb.
I haven't seen the coaches move so fast, let alone the players. I mean, as soon as that ball was, they called it in, they're reaching for that green card.
It was right in front of them. Of course, most conferences now have adopted the replay, the challenge afforded to the coach, 1 per set. And the question simply in or out. Thompson with the swing, and this is not a Shockers team that's too concerned about playing one of the 2 unbeatens left in the league.
Right now they look pretty loose, as you should in the start of any game, but I always had nerves no matter who we were playing, and I think it's always good to have those kind of nerves going into a match. Keeps you on top of things.
Reminder, Nicole Fye, our courtside reporter, will continue to monitor your comments and see who you think among these 2 coaches. We may even give it away right here, as you see Molly Alvey in her 7th year with the Bearcats, and Well, a couple years ago, top coach in the league. Back then, Jordan Thompson was a sophomore. They'll get to the NCAA tournament. She's sitting on 101 victories now. 101 came the other day against Tulsa. If she wins today, number 102 will put her as the second winningest head coach for Cincinnati.
And it seems like getting over that 100-century mark right there for any coach is a huge accomplishment.
And of course, she's matching minds with Chris Lamb, and he's been almost 2 full decades. We've given an answer away there for you with the Shockers now. Those 15 straight 20-win seasons. Last year, they were a win shy of a 30-win campaign. As right now, his Shockers, number 37 RPI. They've had 9 opponents on their schedule this year who were a part of the NCAA postseason a year ago.
Yeah, and you know, going back to that 15 out of 20 win, you know,
15 seasons of 20 wins.
Yeah, that's incredible, and that just shows the consistency that's been there at Wichita.
They made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament last year. Again, right now the question is in or out. Jordan Thompson had the swing. They ruled it in. It was immediately challenged by Chris Lamb and his staff. So they are still reviewing the video right now at the table. But both of these teams, top 45 RPI. Bearcats right now are number 42. UCF in the teens at the moment leads this conference in RPI. But what a clash. We knew we had to be in Wichita with the American Digital Network when these two got together.
This play seems to be taking quite a while, so they they must be really looking at it. You know, of course, it has to be conclusive if it was in or out, and it was in.
You know, the officials always feel a little better about themselves on a call like that. Shockers coaching staff thought they had a perfect view right down the line. Bearcats break the 3-0 run of Wichita State to pull back within 1. And serve into the net will give the point right back along with the serve to the Shockers.
And that was pretty much a long time out there, and Carli Nolan going up and taking a rip at it, just right into the net.
6-foot senior with the service error, preseason all-conference with a rare miscue. And now back over to the second-year freshman Cora Carli. Left-handed serve. Right down the line, why not go to Jordan Thompson, and we're going to go ahead and guess that was in.
That was definitely.
Had a few feet to spare.
That was definitely in, and Cora, she's just reaching over the top of the block and down in the middle of the court for a point.
And that ball tipped at the net as Georgia Chivita could not get underneath it, and a subsequent miscue from the Bearcats. Tight one here early. Wichita State back up by a pair, matching their largest lead.
And Wichita's got to come out quick against this Cincinnati team just to mentally get into their heads.
Saw Brooke Smith up at the net for Wichita State, the middle blocker, the 6'3" sophomore, a walk-on who recovered from a broken pinky this summer. Thompson with that healthy shoulder now. From the left side. And almost too many Bearcats in the area caught looking at one another. Tabitha Brown, preseason all-conference outside hitter from Texas. That Houston area puts it away.
A smart shot, just a nice little roll shot in the middle of the court, right in the middle of Cincinnati defense for a point.
Largest lead early belongs to the Shockers. Great dig by Kuhn. Block up front from the Bearcats. Back-to-back kills from Tabitha Brown.
And this time, Tabitha just unleashing on an angle, hitting right past the Cincinnati block and down for a point.
Bearcats are going to want to talk it over. They slip behind early in set number 1 here to Wichita State. And let's check back in with Nicole Courtson. We'll have a chance to check with her in just a moment. Remember, stay interactive all throughout this broadcast. Love to hear from everyone. If you're Cincinnati, what's the emphasis early on?
Well, just kind of slow things down, get back into our game rhythm. You know, coach is saying, hey, they're passing a little bit off right now. They got to make sure they're a little more consistent on their passing, and I think the regular game gets into the mix.
Molly Alby's had several stops, former head coach at Houston. We'll get her master's over at Temple. She knows this conference so well. And of course for the Shockers, She showed up last year, the Shockers, their first ever years in the American, and they go undefeated 20-0 in this league, turning a lot of heads, denying traditional powers like SMU of a title for the first time in a few years. All of a sudden, after sneaking up on people last year, they have everybody's best game when they line up across the net from them. So Bearcats hoping to end this run. Back to Thompson. At times, Shockers had an answer for Jordan, but not her defense. Up front, the block from 23.
Great dig in the back row for Wichita, but Thompson on the outside saying, if I can't put the ball down, I will block it so it doesn't get past me.
Alex Kuhn will get a breather. As the tandem up front for the Bearcats briefly shutting down Brown, but the rally continues. And the punctuation will come from Kostelak, Erica Kostelak, an in-state product for Cincinnati, greater Cleveland area.
Kostelak just burying that ball from the right side angle right through the block of Wichita.
Just a two-fisted punch over from Brown. A big right swing again from Kostelak.
Yeah, looking at her approach on that right side, Kostelak, she's got a nice swing. Really reaches high, been pumping that ball angle, getting a few points.
Trying to keep it playable, they do. And just a tad too much. You had a lot to work with there, but Jasmine Jones just misfires.
Yeah, that looked like Jasmine got a little ahead of the set, had to kind of reach behind her and get that ball, and it kind of sailed out of bounds long.
The Bearcats had pulled within one before that last miscue. This will be outside the antenna, and it's back to a 1-point set here early on.
Kostelak from the left side this time. Really putting the ball down. Unfortunately, Chidova not able to control that ball.
Let's serve, but a nice job getting underneath it. Shockers keep the point playable. Hear the power from Kostelak. Shockers not backing down. Go right back to number 8. And for the first time, we get to brag on Abbey Williams there, the libero for the Bearcats in the red top. And in the end, a touch of the net from the Bearcats will give the point to the Shockers as that one unfolds a classic.
And those are the kind of rallies, those long rallies you really want to win. And Tabitha Brown going high off the block and out of bounds. We call that a little tool, and she'll take that point all day.
He plays it off of Jones's right hand. Kara Bound. Be tight over the net, just trying to dump it over, calling. And the Shockers can't come through. That'll set up the serve here for Williams.
And Abbey Williams picking that ball up, actually getting a kill on that ball, falling right in between two defenders for Wichita.
Senior out of Loveland, Ohio. Tabitha Brown's been a bright spot, living up to expectations here today.
Tabitha Brown again from the left side, just unleashing angle.
And it's a Shockers team without Jenna Mack all year with injury. They're missing Wright with a thumb injury as well. We also heard Callie Aiken is out. So a little short-handed today as you look over at the bench for the Shockers. One more from the back row. Thompson sends the fastball screaming to the back row.
And when you need to put a ball down, you try and find Thompson, and they sure did. Cincinnati out of the back row for her second kill out of the back row.
Look at that wingspan for the 6'4" junior.
Nice angle. Nobody up on that block. I have no idea why why that would be, but it might have caught him off guard.
What would the block have accomplished?
You know, sometimes you get lucky. Take a spot.
She was swinging from the penthouse. Free ball, perhaps for the Bearcats. No, Shockers still able to get it over. Thompson, a little kinder, gentler approach there. And a touch called on the Bearcats. Keeps the Shockers ahead here in this opening set.
Cora Calling doing a couple of dumps during this first set, which usually only dump 1 or 2 times in a game. You are running the 5-1 system, but Cincinnati seems to be all over her information right now.
A time cleaning up right in the middle for the Shockers. Piece of cake for Brooke Smith, the 6'3" middle blocker. Mentioned a walk-on.
That's the happy birthday attack right there. Nice free ball pass over, just put it down on one.
Thought you were gonna say close your eyes and make a wish. From the left side. Thompson. And they may need to retire that ball.
They did try and block that time, but as we saw, to no avail.
I can try to block. Cincinnati with a chance to pull back within 1. Bearcats claim the opening point of this set, but have not led since.
And Alex Kuhn coming through on the left side. Cincinnati getting a hand on the ball, almost got it up.
This is not a surprise right now. Wichita State has been able to hang with some of the best programs in the country. They played Stanford and BYU tight. 5 of those 6 sets they played against them, at some point it was 18 all. But you were talking about at the start of our broadcast, Wichita State has been vulnerable to some late runs in matches, allowing multiple points to add up.
And that's the one thing Chris Lamb says they're really working on, is to try and minimize those runs, those 4, 5, 6-point runs right at the end of the game, because those can just be devastating to a team.
Switch to a 6-2, not gaining enough ball control in a 5-1. I'd love to see a successful coach who's still willing to be flexible based on his personnel.
And we saw that double contact set, and that's what we talked about earlier, is the off play setting and seeing if they can make that a little more consistent.
Midway through the opening set. Not much of a rhythm there for the Shockers. Thompson off bounce, but again with that wingspan can make up for things. Jordan. And she's got the right angle.
The right angle is correct. It's kind of fun to watch a player like Thompson, who, when you talk about angles in this one, she just hits way inside the block of Wichita, and those are some scary angles right there.
In Bearcats, we noted their RPI of 42 in the nation right now. They've been certainly tested along the way. And able to find space on that back row. More success from Kostelak.
Kostelak just having a lot of success from that right side hitting angle. That one was more middle, one-on-one block, putting that ball down for a point.
And the Bearcats finally erased the lead. They trailed by as many as 3 here in this first set.
Just about to say a great dig right there, but looked like Cincinnati into the net.
A violation called. So point and serve now awarded to the home side. Thompson a tad strong.
Sometimes you can see those types of hits early on. I kind of knew that was, she didn't get all of it. She got underneath it a little bit and then kind of whiffed it out of bounds. Didn't quite get on top of that ball.
Jordan's a Minnesota native, willing to cross the state border, play her college ball in Ohio for this great program. As Erica Kostelak, another kill. So here's again your preseason player of the year. Able to suit up this year. She is #1 in the nation in kills and points for 6 straight weeks now. And she plays the back row. And she will continue her serve. Jordan recently became the conference's all-time kills and points leader for her career, and we continue to reiterate, bad news for opposing head coaches. She'll be back next year as a senior.
That's a good problem to have if you're a coach.
2 years ago, the unanimous conference player of the year, and now she wants to grab a towel and show off. Literally does it all.
she does it all, that's for sure. It's great to see her, you know, someone of her size able to play defense in the back row. That's, you know, I'm a defensive player, and when you see someone like that making moves like this on the court, that just is something that coach likes.
So Cincinnati again had a chance to tie it. Instead, the Shockers up by 2. And they have an answer for Kostelak, but she's able to tool that block and pick up another point for the Bearcats.
Looked like a pretty tight set. Almost looked like she was aiming for the roof on that one. Just hitting that ball out of bounds.
Kostelak's now put it away 7 times in this first set. Shockers not impressed. They are still hanging on to that advantage. We are getting into the later points now. Right off the palm. And they'll call the violation right there going into the net from Heckenmuller. And it continues the service here for Brown.
Yeah, unfortunate play right there for Cincinnati. Got to be able to control that ball in the back row. Give your setter a chance to set that ball.
Brown just with that line drive serve. Kostelak trying to direct it to an open corner. Jordan Thompson elevates in slow motion, and it's not fair because that ball does not echo the grace that she comes at it with. It's a screamer.
And they're trying to get in Wichita, trying to get a 2-man block up on that, and Thompson just finding the open area in between the block for, I believe, her 4th kill out of the back row.
Here's Jade Tinglehoff, senior out of Lakeville, Minnesota. Set from Williams. And just too tight to the net, struggled to play it.
And Cincinnati getting all over Cora Calling on that. She's a front row setter, and they can see her make that move, but not that time.
Calling with the dump, and it again pushes the Shockers up by 2 points here. As we get closer and closer to that magic number 25, but the service error will give the Bearcats another chance here to try to put together a late run. Again, they have not had a lead since it was 1-0, really have not been tied since then either. And those early points. And just nice, calm reaction from Brooke Smith. Saw space, fired it home.
And it all started with a perfect pass by Wichita in the back row. Perfect in-system setting, point Wichita.
So you put the redshirt freshman Cora Calling back to serve, the left-hander. Received by Williams. Her name is Jordan Thompson. I don't know if we've mentioned her yet on the broadcast.
I haven't heard it yet.
And you can make every adjustment you want.
Somehow she's just going to find a way.
That's not fair. And yet the Shockers have done enough to maintain a lead. Trying to take the first set. And they block Thompson, and that will push them within 3 points of taking this first frame.
Yeah, Brooke Smith up on that block. Really just diving, putting her left hand into that angle and just putting that ball down. That's just a great block right there.
It's a walk-on going up
against one of the best in the country.
Yeah. Time to renegotiate. Thompson's not the only one who can swing. Maria Malin, a freshman.
Just a freshman. And Maria Malin from the right side. And that's the thing, you know, when you're really concentrating on one particular player, that leaves other players wide open to have success. And those players start catching fire, then it's a whole new match.
And the Shockers now are within 2.
Brooke Smith coming in, and I really like the fact that the Shockers aren't afraid to go back to back in the setting, and that's Brooke Smith's, I believe, second or third kill in a row. So, you know, I always say go to the well, and the well's not dry.
Bearcats now use their final timeout of the opening set, hoping to salvage this opener against Wichita State. Bearcats, understandably the favorites, even though here at the home court of the Shockers. As we toss it to one of our favorites as we check back in with Nicole.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Question 2 online for Facebook viewers. Where are you watching from and who are you rooting for? Go ahead and leave those comments in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Nicole. And Adam, you and I will be grading those responses. Hopefully nobody gets these wrong.
You never know.
But it is great, especially in a sport where we see so many international players. I have a feeling we have a few eyeballs over there at whatever time it might be in Italy.
Absolutely. It's always a good time over in Italy. I spent some quality time over there. Got married over in Italy, by the way.
Is that legal here?
I don't know. To be quite honest with you, I don't know.
Seems to have worked out.
So far. Only 28 years.
As right now, those Shockers up 23-21. Bearcats have threatened a few times to pull even. Wichita State just 2 points away. Bearcats use their last timeout, hoping they can put together a run here.
Well, in Wichita, like Chris Lamb says, wants to stay steady in the latter part of these games, and they're doing just that in this first set.
Speaking of Italy, Civita will have the serve out of Malin. A nice diamond effort on the back row to keep it alive for Brown. And Jordan Thompson, it's a familiar line. She pulls it within 1. Now she will have the serve. This would be heartbreaking for Wichita State if the Bearcats somehow, after trailing the entire set, stole it here in the final points.
Well, and let's see if they're going to go to Thompson in the back row.
Right back to her, a little give and go, but wanted it too much. That one a mile long.
And that was kind of an obvious set, as I said it right before. But when you have an attacker like Thompson in the back row, you might as well go to the well.
Jordan envisioned leveling it at 23. Instead, it is going to be set point for the Shockers. I didn't see a card, but the question might be, was it challenged? I think they are challenging whether the ball was touched at the net.
Now, you said they only get one challenge?
Per set.
Per set.
So that's the question. Did Grace Birkin get those fingertips on this ball? Oh, yeah. That left hand. Like she got 2 fingers on it.
It's really interesting what we used to do back when we were playing. As soon as the ball's hit, even if we did touch it, we're screaming, no, 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 you know, and some of those kind of things aren't really taught in these days. Now, in that angle, it looks like her fingers aren't moving.
They've been backwards.
They don't look like they do.
You're right. Yeah, so again, the burden to overturn the call may be too much. It seems more likely than not it'll be 24-22, set point for Wichita State coming up.
But if you only get one challenge, didn't Wichita?
Per team, per set.
Why would these? Oh, these guys are challenged.
These are the Bearcats.
Yes, that's true.
Shockers were more than happy with the result.
Exactly.
Well, this will be a big one. There's coach. Associate head coach Philip White, assistant Kevin Carroll. And of course, across the way, Chris Lamb in his 19th year. Associate head coach Sean Carter, Austin Osto, assistant. These fans looking to rejoice. We look forward to being back here during the basketball season. Keith Adams has a good one. That program on the rise once again, and for the Shockers. And let's see if they saw enough. No. No touch. Set point for the Shockers. They'll get a couple of bites at the apple here if needed. And you hear the crowd getting into it. And again, it'll still be set point. A service error from the Bearcats would still hand it to the Shockers. The Bearcats can wipe out set point right here.
A lot of pressure on this play right here.
Serve from Williams. Brown into the net. Shockers still have it. And this time Brown comes through. Wichita State takes set one on their home court. 25-23, looking to give the Bearcats perhaps their first loss this year in conference play. Brown able to split the double block.
Getting two attempts at it at that great coverage on the first one. Really wanted to put the second one down.
Let's check in with Nicole.
Thanks, guys. Coach, what have you seen from Cora Calling tonight running the 5-1?
Great question. Very happy. I mean, we've kind of been thrown into this Call of Duty. I mean, we got no other options right now with all the injuries, and honestly, it's the best I've seen Cora, and it almost makes you wonder, with us not having options, maybe she can't look over her shoulder, and maybe in that regard, it's liberated her a little bit. But when Cora had to get thrust into this the other night versus ECU, it was the best we'd seen her, and that's including practice and anything we've ever seen. So here she is against a legitimate, great team, and so far hanging in there with the game plan. She scored a little bit, and she looks comfortable. So, man, we are really excited. I'm glad you asked.
She definitely does look comfortable. Thanks so much, Coach. Best of luck to you guys.
There's a good bit of volleyball knowledge between those two individuals. Glad to have Nicole with us here on the American Digital Network to talk to Chris Lamb there. And, well, injuries, although they could be a storyline, not an excuse today for the Shockers.
Well, and they should never be an excuse. I mean, yeah, it's hard to say if you're losing your best player that, we could have won that game if someone didn't step up. But at the end of the day, that's why you have a team. That's what a team's called. Somebody's got to step up. Everybody's got to step up if someone goes down. And it sounds like Cora Calling's been doing just that.
So between set one and set two right now. And let's check back in with Nicole.
That's right, I'm back. Third Facebook hit for you guys. Defending American champion Wichita State is going through a youth movement in 2018. So the question is, how many Shockers are freshmen or sophomores? Remember to leave your answers in the comment section.
All right, thank you very much, Nicole. That's what's great about these broadcasts. Again, the interaction we're able to have, and so many people chiming in from where they are tuning in from. And as expected, no shortage of folks taking advantage of the free long distance rates of the World Wide Web, tuning in on Facebook as far as Serbia.
Serbia, nice.
There's just a lot of volleyball talent all over the world. Now, these two programs happen to be able to find quite a bit in their backyards. As they continue to find success and reach Division I postseason play, they'll continue to strengthen that recruiting. There's a reason why Tabitha Brown has been smiling ever since the national anthem. I mean, it has been nonstop. These players have been loose, and they believe that they very much are here to defend their home court and have every right to improve to 5-2 by the end of this one.
And you mentioned Tabitha Brown, and she was pretty much on fire in that first set. And whenever you put the last point down in any set, that just kind of carries the momentum over for that individual into the second set or third.
Shockers hit 326 in that first set. Bearcats not far behind at 319. Jordan Thompson with 9 kills, hitting 333. 7 kills for Brown, including that last one to put it away. Hit 438 in the first frame.
438 for an outside hitter is unbelievable. Usually for an outside hitter, you're looking in the low 3 to mid 300s. 430 something, you said?
Yeah, 438.
That's unbelievable.
7 kills, no errors on 16 attacks. And Brown with the serve to start, and a service error. We'll still brag on her a little bit.
She was just coming down from that last set. Had a good set there.
So Cincinnati has taken the first point now in the first 2 sets. That was the only lead they had in set 1. And it'll be a short-lived lead here.
Wow. I think Alex Kuhn just tattooing down the line. She caught someone from Cincinnati, definitely in the forehead at least.
Alex from the Commonwealth of Virginia, from Williamsburg, Virginia. And the Bearcats right back.
And Maria Malin, again, we saw her in the first set cranking on some from the right side. The freshman, she doesn't look like a freshman out there right now.
Right side over the block. Brown right down the middle. That was ultimately nice save and set by Tingelhoff, looking for Malin. They'll do it again. Second time the charm.
I think it was the third time in that rally. Third time the charm. They were going at her all day long right there. Malin again, one-on-one on the right side, taking this one just on the inside of the block.
Libero Abbey Williams will come back onto the floor. She had 10 digs in that first set. Easy to overlook her contributions. Keeping points alive. Thompson had to delay her elevation, didn't matter.
She was ready to come in, all of a sudden had to wait because that set was just a little bit higher than what she's probably used to. But like you said, it didn't matter. 2 steps, put that ball down for a point.
Tingelhoff comes off. That's the 10th kill now for Thompson in this match. Her teammate Kostelak, two kills back of her with 8. Kostelak was a force in the first half of that set to get us started. And just a few inches long of an ace.
And 2 missed serves early for Wichita. Without any aces so far, they got to make sure they're dialing those in.
Thompson with the approach. Brown comes flying in that net, but still under control. Back row. And number 11 for Jordan Thompson.
Yeah, Jordan Thompson hitting this one from about 13, 14 feet back and just hitting high off the block of Wichita, out for a point.
See some of the early numbers. Those 11 kills on 20 attacks now, hitting 400. Block up front from the Bearcats. Nice effort from Williams. And able to put it away. Kostelak with her 9th kill early. Third-year sophomore.
Kostelak just doing it from the left side, from the right side. He's really solid in this match so far.
And all of a sudden, Bearcats have the largest lead anybody has had in this tight match early on. And it'll grow to 5. And that, of course, predictably a timeout now for the Shockers as they slip behind early. Well, what are the Bearcats doing differently here in set number 2?
Well, they're a little more consistent with their passing. You know, sometimes a team can come out strong or can come out not as on fire. In Cincinnati's case, they felt that first set they could have had, let that one slip away. They know that. Now they're showing that they can actually play with Wichita here.
Look back into the huddle. Both sides. And again, here are your results of Nicole's last question of how many Shockers are freshmen or sophomores. We mentioned they lost a lot of talent, not just their Mount Rushmore, so to speak, of some of the best players ever, but it's easy to overlook some of the additional talent they lost as well. We'll confirm your answer in just a moment on that last poll. As the last timeout called by Wichita State. And the answer, of course, 16 total freshmen and sophomores. Just 5 combined juniors and seniors for the defending champion Shockers. They took the first set from the Bearcats, and they respond the way you would hope coming out of a timeout called by their coach a moment ago.
Tabitha Brown going up high and hard, just hitting the outside arm of Cincinnati, out for a point.
Just misplayed. Maybe an ace for the Shockers.
Kostelak getting caught off guard on that pass in the short front row there. Just needs to get that ball up a little bit higher, give her setter an opportunity to make a play on that ball.
Georgia with the serve is 3rd in the country with a little over 6 digs per set. But her service will be cut short.
Carli Nolan coming around for Cincinnati on the X play.
Service error from Williams. Will hand the point right back over to Wichita State. As both teams struggling with their serve now. The Bearcats with the benefit of this lead early on. Right now 9-6. And when in doubt, you don't always need power. The setter comes through with the dump there from Heckenmuller.
Yeah, Heckenmuller just doing a little over on 2 set right there. Really catching the Shockers off guard.
And Thompson goes long, no touch. Shockers back within 3. Set number 2 after taking the first frame, 25-23.
And the serves for Wichita right now kind of killing them. Third missed serve by my count.
Nolan, preseason all-conference. Right down the net. And that time had her in self-defense mode. Tingelhoff just had no reaction time.
And Kuhn right down the line, and like you said, that's like an incoming defensive mode right there.
Alex Kuhn so good. The baseball team signed up her brother, younger brother Reese Kuhn, a freshman with the baseball program. So the Kuhn family with plenty of reasons to make the trek from Virginia to Kansas. And here come the Shockers. They trailed by as many as 4.
And not only can Kuhn hit the ball, but she can also block. Putting a nice block up there.
If of being 6'3". And Bearcats just trying to punch one over from Malin. And now all of a sudden they're a little out of sorts.
And that can happen in a game. You get up, you get a little complacent out there. Other team starts to play a little bit better. All of a sudden you're 1 point, and you got a 1 point difference game.
There's an effective timeout called by Chris Lamb, halting the momentum a little earlier from the Bearcats. And efforts like that appreciated to keep a rally alive. As Kara Bound was able to keep it going for a while, but in the end, the Bearcats will take the point.
And Thompson, you know, we talked about the out-of-system setting right there. Getting a set about 10 feet off the net. Still is able to put that ball down, but boy, she would sure like it if it was like 3, 4, 5 feet closer.
12th kill for Thompson. That time, just a quick little left-handed skyhook from Collings, sending it down the other side of the net.
And I think Calling is kind of found something in her dumps where she was going over the block. Abbey Williams picked up about 3 of them in the first match, and she's had a little more success pushing the ball towards the right side of the defense.
Cora out of Naperville, Illinois. Well, not the biggest player on the court at 5'9", but Maria Malin found a good angle and found some space right in the heart of that Shockers defense.
Yeah, you could see the block, the hole in the block of the Shockers, and Malin finding that and putting that down with some authority.
So Shockers trailing right now by 1, 13-12 midway in set number 2 after taking the first set 25-23. And again, we're back to plan 1B when you talk about the abilities of Erica Kostelak complementing Thompson.
And Kostelak just crushing that angle inside the block of Wichita.
It's time to jump, just poke it over. Williams with the set this time for Thompson. Jordan's not even wasting any time looking for open space. She's creating space.
She's creating space. She has a nice little wrist away here. Hitting that ball just towards the left back for a point.
If she reaches the apex of her jump, it'll freeze the 6 players on the other side of the net for a brief moment. But she had the entire back row to cover and just could not keep that rally going.
But you sure like the effort right here at 6'4", being able, with that body, being able to cover a lot of court.
Shockers back within 2, trailing 15-13.
I'd like to know how high she touches on the Vertec. I mean, maybe I don't want to know, because if she touches higher than me, I'm not.
Something on a kitchen shelf you need help with?
Absolutely. No.
Chris Lamb with a great use of a timeout earlier in this set to end a run from Cincinnati. But they have not been able to completely close the gap, as we've basically flipped roles from the first set right now. Shockers just trying to hang in there, much like the Bearcats in the first frame. Brown denied into the block up front. Jasmine Jones.
Jasmine Jones just reaching over on out of the Browns angle here. Really getting her, really penetrating the ball. She's probably been a little upset that she hasn't gotten her sooner.
Free ball for the Bearcats. And it'll be the subsequent return from the Shockers that'll go wide for the air.
At Chavita, what a great play to keep that ball alive. All the way from the back row, anticipating that ball, getting it up. Unfortunately, couldn't get the point.
Williams into the net. 17-14. Cincinnati's lead will shrink to 3. We heard from Chris Lamb after set 1. We'll hear from the head Bearcat, Molly Alvey, her 7th year, a little bit later on in the broadcast. And the Bearcats starting to find a rhythm again, this time with Kostelak.
Yeah, Kostelak just seems to be having her way with the Wichita block right there, hitting at will down the line, cross court. That one cross court for a point.
Shockers for the 2nd time in this set, trailing by 4. Thompson. And again is long. Jordan Thompson sitting out last year. I asked her coach, did she benefit from sitting last year? And she in fact said yes, for that different vantage point, sitting, watching, seeing things unfold. You do get a new vantage point that when you're back on the court, you can appreciate a few more moments.
As a competitor, you definitely don't want to be on the bench, but I've been in her position before, and you do see the game in a different light, so it actually helps.
A nice roll, but it'll continue long for the air. Service there from Nolan. Shockers need a run here late. Service from Grace Birkin. We'll bring Chavita back in on the back row of the libero.
I believe that's 5 missed serves for Wichita this set.
Size up front, paying off for the Shockers there. Trying to get back on track thanks to Brooke Smith. Smith has had some nice moments here early on.
And she really didn't even look like she had a great approach on that one, just being able to put it down and over the block.
Well, miscommunication does not cost the Bearcats. Thompson into the block. They'll get another chance. And they'll call a violation on the Shockers.
Yeah, Maria Malin just, she's been hitting hard this entire match. Took a little bit off that one. I think Wichita was looking for a harder hit and grabbed the net a little bit there.
(21-18) after the service error. Now, some teams will be more comfortable with some of these service errors because they serve so aggressively, but I don't think either of these teams really expect the payoff to make it worthwhile to look the other way on some of these miscues, especially late in a set. Thompson able to squeeze that within a couple feet of the back line. And she has the Bearcats now 3 points away from pulling us even at 1 set apiece here in Wichita, Kansas. Denied right down the middle by Jasmine Jones. The 6-foot middle blocker gets up and shuts it down.
Jasmine Jones reading that play like it was in chapter 2, all over that block for a point.
This is the largest discrepancy in either of our first two sets between these two teams. A 5-point lead for the Bearcats. Gives us a chance to check back in with Nicole Fun.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Newest member of the American Conference, Wichita State had a long conference winning streak that stretched over 2 seasons. But how long was the Shockers conference winning streak? Up to you guys. Send us your answers in the comments.
Yeah, we won't give away the answer just yet. We will note that they could have secured their 15th straight 20-win season just based on conference wins alone last year. But the question Nicole has for you, how many consecutive conference victories do the Shockers have since joining the American last year?
Do you have that answer?
I happen to have the answer. I show up with some notes. You know, all those years in school when I couldn't bring notes to the exam, now I'm making up for that now for the past couple decades. As Chris Lamb, year number 19 at the helm.
Ooh, somebody was into the net there.
Now, which way will this go? Bearcats now set point coming up. First time they've had this opportunity to claim a set. They dropped the first one 25-23 to the Shockers. And they have exactly who they want to put the punctuation on it. Biggest lead of the night for either team right now. And into the net goes a Bearcat, but it'll still be set point here available for Cincinnati.
Yeah, Jasmine Jones on that one, just getting a wrist in the net.
Chivita. Well, Wichita State's going to have to fend off quite a few set points to have a chance here. They've already done it once. Tight. Williams. Flying in is Brown. 24-20. Shockers not giving up the second set just yet.
And Tabitha Brown just wanting and willing to finish that ball. Nice angle shot by her.
Thompson has seen enough. Cincinnati pulls us even here in Wichita, Kansas. One set apiece. 25-20 the final tally of set number 2.
And Thomas with another wrist away right there. She's got that nice shot. Looks like she's going to be hitting a little bit on the angle. Wrist away, point Thompson.
Last time on the American Digital Network we saw Cincinnati, it was in Dallas at SMU. We did not get a chance to talk to Molly Alvey because, well, she was welcoming a new addition to the family. Glad that we'll have a chance to chat with her in a little bit here on the broadcast after we had a chance to catch up with Chris Lamb of Wichita State after that first set. And let's go ahead and check in with Nicole and Coach.
All right, thank you, Lincoln. Coach, you mentioned serving as a big key for tonight's game. 5 service errors in this last match. What are some of the keys to getting back into that aggressive serving mentality?
Yeah, I think it's just mentality. I know a couple of them have felt a little bit rushed when they go back there, so I'm not concerned with that at all. But you're right, I think 5 missed serves in one set is not a good situation to be in. So we'll correct that for this next set.
What other adjustments are you planning to make?
Nothing, hit the court. I mean, look at the stats. Both teams are swinging lights out, so it's probably going to come down a little bit of blocking defense.
Thank you very much, Coach. Best of luck to you. Back to you guys.
As you can tell, Molly Alvey, a former middle blocker.
I was going to say.
Well, talking to Nicole, obviously, that's going to skewer things a little bit.
Step.
Nicole can still swing pretty well. As right now, 1 set apiece. You talk about the stats. As for the match, Wichita State cooled off now, hitting 275 on the day. Bearcats not letting up, hitting 368 still as a team. 16 kills from Jordan Thompson. Kostelek with 11 more of her own. Tabitha Brown, no surprise, in double figures already for Wichita State with her 10 kills, hitting 296. You look at the 13 digs from Abbey Williams, and you look at some of the moves of the resident Shockers fans.
There we go. At least they have some entertainment in between the games.
Yes. Free of charge. And a look into the Bearcats bench. Here's Ignacio. Got a little rhythm in that left arm.
We're back. Is that going to go viral?
He may have gotten his flu shot. Bearcats, well, they pick up that second set, but it is a very calm circle. We talk about our coverage here on the American Digital Network. Fall sports well underway with men's and women's soccer and volleyball. Of course, men's and women's cross-country championships, while just around the corner later on this month. We'll crown a champion for both the men and the women. Live coverage right here on ADN. We return to our women's soccer coverage in what could be a decisive battle for the regular season crown and the right to host the conference tournament over there in Florida. Right now, there is a big one going on as Memphis is just trying to pick up one road win, at least, in the state of Florida after picking up its first loss the other night. But UCF and USF at the end of this month. Men's soccer, another big clash, SMU and UConn at the end of this month as well. And then, of course, the women's soccer championship, just about wall-to-wall coverage for the women and the men. The sites have yet to be determined. The #1 seed will host those. The women will play 1 week prior to the men. Certainly look forward to that coverage on the American Digital Network right here.
Did you ever run cross country?
You could have just asked, did I ever run?
I got suckered into it my freshman year of high school, having to get up at 5 o'clock your freshman year of high school, run 7 to 8 miles every day.
I saw those kids when I was pulling into the senior parking lot.
And that was the last time I think I ran further than 2 miles.
You look at the consistency for Wichita State over the years, including that automatic bid out of the American last year, making it the second round. They'd ultimately fall to Missouri last year to end their campaign. They're going to run out of room for all these banners. A great history with the Shockers. Yeah, you know, every other sport, when you're in trouble, they tell you to run. And I always wondered if the cross-country kids, when they were in trouble, they had to stand still and just throw a ball around.
Probably made them do push-ups or up-downs or something. I don't know.
A lot of respect for those cross-country runners. It is impressive what they put themselves through and the dedication. Got to see a couple of championships up close last year, including some runners who choose to run barefoot and actually still are. I know you played barefoot, but that's a little different story in the sands.
A little different. And I must say, when I did do cross-country, soccer season was the next sport, and I was in great shape. I will say that.
So the question, Jordan Thompson, among one of the nation's leaders in a variety of categories. How many categories does Jordan Thompson have the advantage in? Lead the nation in, I should say, and that's 2 of them. She leads the nations in kills with 431 coming into this week, as well as points. It's the 6th straight week she has led the nation, and she keeps piling on. Today, she's trying to make her head coach the 2nd winningest coach in Bearcat program history with number 102.
And when you're a coach and you've got a player like that, things are looking good.
Nicole also asked how many consecutive wins for Wichita State. The win streak after their first 20 victories last year, they added 2 more this year before falling to Tulsa. But there's Jordan Thompson as advertised. If those of you at home would buy a bigger mobile screen or computer screen, we could put even more of her accolades on your screen for you.
She's just one of those crazy athletes that you want on your roster. Raise the level of the athletes around her, teammates. They're loving it.
3rd set, and there will be no sweep here in Wichita. Brown. First time today, Wichita State takes the opening point.
Brown starting off where she ended up in game 1 and 2. Nice kill on the outside.
Lincoln Rose, Adam Johnson, Nicole Fye with you here on the American Digital Network. Surrounded by our great crew. A marquee matchup here in the American. UCF and Cincinnati both unbeaten coming into today at 6-0. No conference tournament in the American. That will change next year. Not only do you get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament this year, but your champion this year will have the opportunity to host the inaugural conference tournament next year. as we are even 1 point apiece, as that one will go long. Looking at Carli Nolan, one of the 3 preseason all-conference selections for Cincinnati. Thompson, a little give and go with Williams. They gave and went.
Great hustle by Tabitha Brown right there. That's the one thing that you love to see as a coach, is your players throwing their bodies as long as they don't get hurt. Throwing them all around, trying to get that ball up.
Dasha Charbakapa out of Serbia. Of course, the reason why we have a slight increase in our Serbian viewership today. Family back home.
That's the second missed serve in a row for Birkin. First of the set for actually both teams.
Heckenmuller, again the freshman. She's a Cincinnati native, but that time of service error. Of course, all these players have grown up with rally scoring.
Well, I didn't get to play rally scoring. That's no fair.
I was going to politely not ask you about that. Thompson. Nothing polite about that swing.
You can ask me any question you want about that. I will. It's
right around the change in the millennium. They went from side out at the college and high school level to rally scoring. Hoping to control the time of some of these matches,
which I think they've done a great job. You know, you can definitely keep the time down, but there's still some long games.
Bearcats hanging on to a 1-point advantage right now. Williams, Kostelak, and a great effort by the Shockers just to get it back over. Quick return from the Bearcats, and the Shockers were ready. Back to Kostelak, and again, they come up with an answer. They'll go just long on the air.
That was a great rally. Unfortunate right there for Chase Jackson. Just getting under. The set was a little bit outside. Got underneath it a little bit. Those are the type of balls you got to keep in play. Give your defense another opportunity.
This is back to live action. Shockers pull within 1. Not doing a nice job not letting 1 point snowball into multiple points.
Great shot here by Brooke Smith. The cutback. No block's going to be able to touch that one.
How impressive has Brooke Smith been today? Tough task right there at the middle up front. We'll get a touch on the Shockers here, as Jones will get a breather.
Just a little freshman.
And Kuhn, the junior, takes a seat. Brown, pass Williams. Early on here, Shockers still just swinging 286. Bearcats in this third set, 333. Limited sample size so far. That was a dig from Calling. And the Bearcats will grow their lead once again.
That was a great dig, and I think Tabitha Brown really wants that one back. Just was so excited about it. Got a little bit underneath it. Didn't quite get all the ball, and that just kind of fluttered out of bounds.
So back in is Tingelhoff with the serve. 9 service errors for the Bearcats today. And it's long. You know, I was going to ask you, Jordan Thompson, with her great size, Great to see her on the back row, but what kind of concept can she have on that back line with her placement of where that ball needs to be for her not to play it, knowing it's going to carry out?
Well, that's the ticket right there, and you see that with a lot of players. You just have to know, you have to have great court awareness, no matter what position you're in, and you could be a 6'4" player just like she is, and be inside the court, taking up more angles, and she knows when that ball's hit at a certain height and a certain velocity that it's going to be out.
Conflicting rulings from our officials, and our down official will ultimately win the call over to the Shockers. You just feel like some of the smaller players on the back row can have a better grasp of, if this ball's at my shoulder, it's going to carry out. Anything lower, I need to play and not risk. But Jordan covers so much space. That one off the lip of the net. Well, a nice effort by Tingelhoff, just couldn't get enough air under it. And the Shockers hanging in there.
And you talk about Thompson in the back row. I had a 6'2" libero one time, about 5 or 6 years ago, and people were like, "What are you doing with this tall girl?" I said, "Well, if she can play defense, she's covering more court."
Nice coverage all around there from the Bearcats.
Trabacapa up on that block, denying calling on that one.
Brown. Ooh. Just punishing it. Tabitha Brown's been a fun one to watch today.
That one had some heat behind it.
I know we have an issue here, but Wichita State is leading 10-9 right now. We have the score flipped at the moment. Brown with 15 kills here in the match. And that'll end a 4-0 run from the Shockers.
I think Thompson and Brown are having a little hitting contest right here, back to back, after that great one from Brown. Thompson just says, "I can do that as well."
So this has been a rare lead change in our matches so far. The first two sets were tight, but you really had a front runner throughout. Shockers took the first, Bearcats took the second. And they wanted to give themselves a chance on that one. Just poor first touch after the power from Thompson.
And once again, you like the fact that Wichita's trying to run those balls down. They're going to come up one of these times.
Shockers done pretty well handling all the tight passes around the net today. Not conceding any free swings for Cincinnati.
Coon getting lucky right there. Kind of came underneath that one. Didn't quite get it all. Tried to tip it over, and Cincinnati wasn't ready and kind of dug it out of bounds.
Little hop serve from Calling. Jordan Thompson. And she'll take the serve that goes with it. 21 kills for Thompson today, hitting .400. And, well, if you can just push it through the net, why not? That one in the net, then climbed up and over for Smith.
Brooke Smith having a great game in the middle for the Shockers.
Double block pays off against Kostelak. Thompson off the lip of the net. And Jordan Thompson looked like she could have played that ball. She was getting all the way up, then all the way back, covering a lot of space, but you understand the instincts of Abbey Williams. Like any libero, diving for any ball nearby.
They did a great little maneuver there where one of the defenders goes in front of the other goes behind. Just in case the first one misses, the second one has it. And unfortunately, Abbey got a little bit of her hand on that ball and taking that ball away from Thompson.
So the Shockers benefit with now a 2-point lead here in set 3. Into the double block, still alive. And a free ball with free space on the back row, and cashing in there, Jasmine Jones.
Jasmine Jones up on the first attack, back at the net, ready for the second one. Wasn't a crusher. It was more of a little shot in the back row, but hey, it hits the ground. It's a point.
Shockers lead down to 1. 14-13 here in set 3. Violation on the Bearcats, and it'll stretch the lead for Wichita State back to a pair.
Yeah, that's a tough break right there. Great dig in the back row by Thompson and Heckenmuller. Little bit of spin on that ball. Had to try and take it off. Just slipped through her hands a little bit.
Georgia Chivita wearing that white libero top today. That's a double.
And then you saw right there with that little tip shot over. I always tell my kids, get that ball up in the air, give somebody more time, more opportunity to get underneath and set that ball. That was more like a little ping pong, little boop, boop.
15-14, they officially will call a media timeout here. And speaking of media, let's check back in with our broadcast partner, Nicole.
Thanks, guys. Sixth question on Facebook today. Of all of the great performances that we have seen today, who do you think is your match MVP? Go ahead, and it's a poll question, so go ahead and pick your answer. We'll have the final votes in for you in a bit.
Thank you, Nicole. And no rush necessarily on that vote. Obviously, there will be no 3 and out today, as Wichita State, your defending American champions, colliding with your preseason favorite Cincinnati. Of course, UCF is in the hunt as well. But we look forward to Nicole having the chance to speak with one of our top student athletes by the end of this match, whether it go 4 or 5. I don't think those kids have any place they'd rather be. So Shockers took the first set 25-23, dropped the second one 20-25. And right now, up by a hair. Speaking of which,
there's some nice hair right there.
Technically wheat.
Good call by you on the wheat.
As Tabitha Brown, one of the leaders today, 15 kills, hitting .324 still for the Shockers. Brooke Smith second for Wichita State with 7.
Gotta go over.
And I'll point out, I believe a scoring correction earlier has Cincinnati going into that point up 15-14. And we'll see if it is, in fact, now 16-14 after the last point now for Cincinnati coming out of the break. A service error will give Wichita State its 15th point.
That's the 4th serving error for Cincinnati. And the serves that they're missing aren't real tough serves. You know, if you're going to hit a tough serve and you miss, like the coach was saying earlier, that's okay. These ones seem to be a little bit on the light side.
Yeah, for the match, it's number 11. That's 11 free points in what has been a tight match. Bearcats have had 6 service errors. I should say Shockers have had 6 service errors of their own. No mistake there from Tabitha Brown. From Spring, Texas. Again, that's the Houston area. Plenty of talent down there, and you know, her family enjoys when they make that trip to play the Cougars. in conference. And Thompson, you saw a split second later, kind of regretted getting that arm out there, as that ball will bite her on the way out. Timeout, Bearcats trailing by 1. We'll step aside from Wichita, Kansas. Shockers and Bearcats even 1 set apiece, and a tight one here in the swing set.
In just 5 seasons, storied programs have united as a Power 6 conference. We've watched record breakers, All-Americans, and victories that prove we are not only equal to the best, but often better. Can you imagine what's ahead for this Power 6 conference? We can, because the best way to predict the future is to create the future. The American, powered by determination. More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
Well, the Bearcats called the timeout. These Shockers on a 3-0 run here in the midst of an important third set. Right now up 17-16. Lincoln Rose, Adam Johnson, Nicole Fye with you here on the American Digital Network. We'll have one more ADN volleyball match near the end of conference play. And we are even 17 apiece.
Boy, to have someone like Thompson to be able to hit out of the back row as consistently as they have, something you always want.
Bearcats improved to 6-0 in conference. That's for the match, service error number 12. And obviously, again, this has been tight ever since. All of those service miscues have added up. Still hitting .359 for the match for the Bearcats, .263 for the match for Wichita State. They're just hitting .231 right now, but have the lead here in set 3. Able to salvage that one. Thompson denied, flat-footed. And that's about as close as you're going to get to saying that you're able to drill one down on Thompson.
Yeah, and that was kind of a broken play, not a great set, of course. Thompson really had nothing to do with it. It's a great play to try and play into the block. Hopefully your teammates are there to cover, and unfortunately that wasn't the case.
Erkin with the block, and Bearcats will pick up the point 1 point later.
And it's Wichita State's 4th missed serve of this game.
On the back row, from one back row to the other. Shockers now up by a pair.
Thompson watching Thompson out of the back row with her wrist away as well.
So Jordan Roberts, the junior out of Corpus Christi in Texas, with the serve. And that time guilty of leaving her feet a little prematurely. And goes crossing under the net. Thompson off a touch of the net. Third swing coming up. Williams to number 23.
And down. Thompson on the outside here, finding some space in between the Wichita State block.
Found a gap in the block. Deja vu. This time Chivita able to get underneath it with the dig. No such luck second time around. 21-20. Bearcats back within one here late in the third set. You see that tally now for Thompson. And that's going to prompt the Shockers to use a timeout.
And Thompson, you can tell right now at the end of this game, she's in the front row, first rotation. She's going to be getting a lot of sets coming in the end of this game right now.
Let's check back in courtside with Nicole.
Thank you, guys. As of right now, quite a few errors in this match in Wichita State, up to about 17, if my math is correct. On Friday against East Carolina, they had a record low 7 errors, which led to a 293 hitting percentage. Now, that was the best of their season. This is something that Coach Lamb has hit on the entire season, is limiting those errors. And with such a young team, it's something they're very prone to. So here's to hoping they can clean that up, as well as Cincinnati. Still a pretty good match, in my opinion, though. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Nicole, those low number of errors helped them snap a 5-match winning streak for a Pirate squad that was starting to turn some heads in conference. ECU had been on quite a run in conference play. As well, the newest mascot in the American. Last year, the inaugural run was nothing but good times, winning all 20 matches, running the table after SMU had claimed the previous 2 championships. They did graduate a lot of talent last year. We talked about the youth movement, no excuses, and all of a sudden Chris Lamb has a short-handed Shockers team today going toe-to-toe with the Bearcats, and technically up a point right now in this match, 1 set apiece.
Nice dig to no avail, but touch on that ball. The more touches you get, the more opportunities to get that play back in your favor.
See if the Shockers can do themselves a big favor and close this one out quickly. Personnel change. Malin will come out. Calling. That's the power of that right arm, as off the block and carries all the way to the opposite end.
Thompson from the right side.
Serving 21-22.
Look for Thompson in the back row here.
Chance to tie it right here. Williams. Battle at the net. Shockers wanted it more.
It's hard to tell who actually took a swing on that for the Shockers, but it looks like ended up being Jackson putting that ball down for a point.
And Chase Jackson, the sophomore out of Denver. Getting closer to set point. It'll have to wait.
Yeah, core calling being called on a back row attack on that play. Back row setters can't jump and touch the ball above the plane of the tape.
We're even 23 apiece in set 3. Currently tied at 1 set apiece. Shockers will use their second timeout here in this pivotal third set. So dead even. Cincinnati has battled back. And the next 2 points could go a long way to determining how this Sunday plays out. Again, there will be no sweep today. Either going 4 or 5. we have a chance to check back in with Nicole Fine.
We have another Facebook question for you guys. The newest member of the American Athletic Conference, Wichita State Shockers, they had a pretty long conference winning streak that stretched over 2 seasons, including all of last season. But how long was that conference winning streak? Let us know in the comments.
We'll see if the folks at home have been paying attention. I know Adam knows the answer. He's trying to log on right now.
What do I win? What do I win?
As you see how the voting right now has played out on that question. Well, what's going to determine how this set plays out?
Who wants it more?
Bearcats will serve for set point. Neither team has survived set point today to come back and claim a set. A minimal margin here. Brown somehow forces that between the block and the net of Cincinnati.
Yeah, from our angle right here, I thought that thing went right into the middle of the net, but it got right in between the block of Cincinnati and down for a point.
How about some extra points here in set 3? Who can get the edge?
What a dig.
It's a huge dig, but just wasn't playable. And Kostelak will get the kill for her effort. And Cincinnati will inch back ahead.
Kostelak with a rare turn down the line from the right side. Almost looked like she tore her shoulder right out of her socket there.
I don't think you're allowed to joke about that around Cincinnati. Set point for the Bearcats again. And again, the Shockers will wipe that off the table.
Tabitha Brown, the go-to person for Wichita State right now in the latter part of this game.
Looking at Abby Pugh out of Brenham, Texas. Kara Bound out of Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm told they play some decent volleyball in that neck of the woods. Big serve here. Trying to inch ahead, perhaps for a set point for the Shockers.
Ooh.
Did it hit the antenna? It did. And now the Shockers, after surviving 2 set points, for the first time in set number 3, will serve to claim the set. Timeout, Cincinnati.
Yeah, and Malin just going up, trying to beat it down the line, catches the antenna. I remember when I was a freshman and kept hitting the antenna, one of the upperclassmen said, "Don't mess with Mr. Antenna, he doesn't like it."
Never ends well. So those Shockers on their heels faced a couple of set points for Cincinnati, and each time immediately had the answer. It keeps us here in extra points, and now for the first time, Shockers can close it out and possibly take it in 4. This is what I love about college volleyball. All the young players in the region coming out, seeing some of their idols and perhaps something to aspire to.
It's starting to get cold up in that neck of the woods, isn't it?
It's about to get cold in everybody's neck of the woods. Cincinnati's called this timeout, understandably. They need to do what the Shockers were able to do just a moment ago. Bearcats 15-4 on the year, but most importantly 6-0 in conference after going 11-9, fighting their way through conference play last year. Thompson returns the favor.
And that all started with a perfect pass by Abbey Williams right there. That's what you need to do in that situation.
26-all. Let's serve. Ball eats Williams up, and again the Shockers will serve for set point.
Abbey Pugh on the slide here just almost took out Abbey Williams down the line.
We might be here for a little while.
Well, now that Thompson's in the front row for Cincinnati, we know where the ball is going to be going.
And a service error. And how about the discipline from Wichita State on that back row?
That's not the best time of the game. Best time in the game to miss that serve either.
For the third set, Brown, right place, right time. But nobody played it. So talk about already taking care of the hard part of it, and that's the dig after the swing from Thompson.
You had a couple of Shockers looking at each other like they were shocked that it came up or something.
There was no way of avoiding that pun. And another service error from the Bearcats.
That's their 7th missed serve this set. The second missed serve within 3 points.
And again now, Wichita State up by 1. Calling. No surprise. Twice they have an answer for Thompson and never even have the second swing.
Brooke Smith really wants this one back here. Kind of mistimed the dig. It was a tight set. As a middle blocker hitting the ball that's coming over a dig that's coming over your head. It's a hard play to make right there.
How much is Jordan Thompson thinking about those last 2 service errors right now?
She's making sure that one was in.
She's stuck on the back row right now. And she swings wide. Another error gives Wichita State another chance.
Thompson out of the back row. She really wants this one just getting outside the ball a tad, hitting that ball outside 3 to 4 feet.
Oh, the double block, mistimed their jump, still got it over. Wichita State will take the third set, 31-29. Shockers perhaps 1 set away from handing the Bearcats their first loss in conference.
Yeah, and Chase Jackson right here, just trying to get something, have something done, and just puts that ball right down in. Kind of caught Cincinnati off guard for the point.
Oh, good times here in Wichita. Let's check back in with Nicole.
Thank you, guys. A beautiful harmony between the Cincinnati Bearcats team. It's very obvious, especially on offense. Part of that comes from the fact that setter Jade Tingelhoff and hitter Jordan Thompson are both from Minnesota and both played on the exact same club team, Northern Lights. That's a club team very well known around this area in the club volleyball scene, but they are both in the same grade and both decided to come to Cincinnati at the exact same time. Now, Tingelhoff with 22 assists, Thompson with 28 kills. She might have had a little bit of help from Armenia Heckenmuller, but the harmony is definitely there. So good. Back to you guys.
Yeah, obviously that'll be a big combination moving forward the rest of this match. Of course, Jade and Jordan will be split up at the end of this year. Jade will play all 4 of her years consecutively, run out of eligibility this season. Thompson will be back next year without Jade at her side. Jade, the 6-foot senior setter. She's out of Lakeville, Minnesota. As Nicole mentioned, both of them on the same club team.
Yeah, that Northern Lights, they're definitely well known.
So talk about some drama in that third set. both teams multiple times survived a set point to give themselves opportunities. But really, you have to define those final few points as errors on Cincinnati, especially on the serve.
Yeah, that was a pretty tough end of the third set, missing, like we said, two serves out of 3 points. That's something that you just can't do, and I'm sure Cincinnati is well aware that they feel that they kind of gave that set away towards the end there.
Lincoln Rose, Adam Johnson, Nicole Fye with you here on the American Digital Network. As we are headed to a fourth set, if those Bearcats have their way, they're in no rush to catch a flight. They would just soon play 5.
Yeah, and when you're in this situation, you want to stay here as long as you can, and playing a 5th game, getting some extra touches on the ball is going to help.
That third set went into extra points, back and forth. Thompson, more often than not, able to find success on her swings, and of course the answer for the Shockers, Tabitha Brown.
Yeah, those guys both having some great hits. They kind of feed off each other, I think.
Well, it's been an entertaining match, and whatever hair product he used, I may need to invest in.
I was just going to say the same thing.
Unless he has a distant cousin, and by distant I mean maybe a couple sections away. Gentleman looks familiar. You see the support they have here. It is a large arena, of course, the basketball home.
It must be a thing.
Blondes just have more fun. Jordan Thompson, even without blonde hair, enjoying herself. Great to have her back as a volleyball fan. Now, the American is that much better for her return. Obviously, the Bearcats are as well.
Little Ozzy Osbourne playing there. It's kind of nice.
I thought we saw Ozzy a moment ago, no?
I think we did.
So here is set 4. Had to wait a little bit longer than we anticipated due to the extra points. It is worth the wait for the Shockers, and they come out and block Thompson on her first effort. 31-29, the final tally of that third set. And as daunting as it may be going up against Jordan Thompson, she's got a little support as well. That time, Charbakapa. 6'3" middle blocker, able to slide to the right.
Charbakapa, yeah, exactly, sliding right past that block, that Wichita State block.
Brown, no need for a slide. Comes right at you.
Downtown Brown.
That ball just started to die down right at midcourt. Nice serve receive by Malin. I'll go right back to that left side, this time over the block on the adjustment. Nice movement by the Bearcats.
Great rally here.
Thompson, gentle approach. They got under it.
A little pancake.
Yeah, but they'll say no. Bearcats will get the point.
Well, I'd like to see that one in instant replay. It sure looked like it got up.
Well, they continue to play for another touch and then the whistle.
Down ref all over that. Let's see if we can see this. Ooh, it looks like she got her hand underneath that ball.
Yeah, it
looks like it got up.
Maybe with some butter and syrup as well.
Where's the green card? Oh, the green card out there.
Early on.
Butter and syrup, I like that.
They may be saving it for some critical moments.
Not going to need it on that one.
Again, this is a very talented conference when it comes to volleyball. These are two of the headliners. There's another 3 or 4 in the mix, really, for the championship this year, and an ace for Wichita State.
That might be one of the first aces of the evening. I mean,
the third combined between these two teams, the second tonight for the Shockers.
Yeah.
And, well, now we'll have a challenge on, of all things.
This one should probably be a little bit easier to see as it's a serve. Nice little knuckleball. That looked out.
Again, they don't rule a touch here. That would be your other question on Nolan. Looked like she got out of the way.
It sure looked out to me, but you never know. Coach Lamb there doesn't seem to think he's getting any calls tonight.
And basically a built-in timeout at the very worst. At the moment, it's a Shocker ace, making it 4-2, but it could just as easily be 3-all.
Now, if you challenge and win the challenge, do you get to keep that, or is it just?
They have not, I don't believe, implemented that. There's a philosophy where you would think as long as you don't get it wrong, you should continue to have those. Same thing applies in some of the other sports like football, but these officials in reality, in real time, do an excellent job.
I wonder if they're sending these, they're talking to officials like in New York.
Here it's on site.
Oh.
And it is an ace. Third ace of the match. That's a pretty easy explanation on a call that simply depends. It was in, it was out. Shockers up by 2. Thompson. Her 30th kill now on the match.
Thompson did not like that last call and said, set me the ball, I will get us that point back.
Again, Tabitha Brown's been brilliant for the Shockers with her 21 kills, hitting 370. Thompson hitting 344 with 30 kills. Kostelek with 14 of her own. Talk about these individual performances, but this is a Shockers team we mentioned. As great as last year's team was, just storming right through their first year in conference, this year's team has to fight harder, and that may very well benefit them in the long run.
Well, and I think that as a coach, you want your teams to be able to fight no matter what. No matter if you have the best team in the country, you want them to be able to do that, go out there every single match, because you never know when you're going to need it down the stretch.
It's the 16th service error for the Bearcats today.
Second in this set so far.
Good communication, even if it is in multiple languages.
Stywald over here on the left side, just trying to get it over the block. But Malin saying, no, I'm going to put that ball down.
Too long. Well, no surprise, here we are in a back and forth set. You know, sometimes you'll get these classics, but there'll be just one stinker in terms of a set mixed in, but not the case here. We have not seen many runs. I think a 4-0 run from Wichita State at one point is about as good as we've seen.
was hard to tell what Cincinnati player was in the net on that ball. Point goes to Wichita State.
Kuhn with the serve. And they attack that back row as Kuhn sees her service come to an end, unable to dig that ball out.
Yeah, Malin on the right side again. She's having her way with that right side and just thundering down the line.
Just a freshman. Free ball for Cincinnati. They have not been able to take advantage of these opportunities. Brown creates her own opportunities. Williams, you mentioned with the dig, carries over wide.
And those that you talked about not being able to take care of the free ball plays. That's something that on a serve, when a free ball comes over, there should be somebody right there to pick that ball up and take advantage of it. Unfortunately for Cincinnati, that was not the case.
Georgia Chivita, preseason all-conference libero, has proven to live up to expectations. One of the top handful of liberos in the nation statistically. And Shockers level it at 8 apiece. Adam and I get to talk to these coaches each week, and Adam likes to lead off with talking about passing. How have you seen that here today?
Well, passing is, you talk to a setter and they'll say the setting's the most important skill of the game, but passing starts everything out. And if you're consistently having a great pass, you're able to open your offense up, and that makes it easy for everybody. You run into trouble when you're passing off the net. You only have 1 or 2 outlets, and I don't have the stats for the passing, but I'd say they're below 80% for both teams. I don't think their passing has been up to their expectations.
Brown over the block.
That was a pretty crazy angle right there for Thompson, coming in, hitting a 2-step from the middle of the court and hitting an angle in that particular area that she did. Not much court to hit.
Bearcats lead grows now to 3. "32 kills for those of you who ran out of fingers and toes a while back while keeping up with Jordan Thompson. Shockers call the timeout. And again, it's easy to say, well, the Shockers are up 2-1. They can afford to drop a set, but you really have to use the must-win when you go into a set 4, because anything can happen when that 5th set rolls around.
Yeah, it's really a coin toss in the 5th set, and sometimes you have the momentum going into the 5th game, but then on the other side of the coin, it's almost the reverse. It can go back either way, and what it really comes down to is who really has the heart, who really wants to control their own destiny.
But if you're Wichita State here at home against an unbeaten Cincinnati team, 6-0 in conference play, and you are leading here in the 4th set, you've got to take care of it now.
You definitely got to take care of it now, because you don't want to go into a 5th set. But even being at home in a 5th set, you feel comfortable in your home court, but on the other side of the coin, there's still a lot of pressure playing at home.
In Lincoln Road's Adam Johnson with you here on the American Digital Network, and well, so far this one has lived up to expectations.
It's a great game to watch. It's a 4-5. Well, we don't know when it's going to be right now, but we're really seeing some solid play from both teams, and it's real tight.
Of course, we talked about Jordan at the top of the broadcast. That's the lazy pick by the announcers of a player to watch. She obviously, with 32 kills so far, has lived up to her standard. The Bearcats can just minimize errors. Shockers come out of the timeout, pull back within a pair.
And that's why you take a timeout there, and Brown just getting a one-on-one block. That's going to have a little momentum going for the Shockers.
We did not isolate Tabitha Brown in the open, but she deserves all the attention there with 22 kills now and 10 digs, the double-double. into the block. Thompson showing off some defense with her second denial of the night.
Abby Pugh going up against Thompson right there. I think I'd have to take Thompson on this one. She's got a great step on that ball, but Thompson all over that.
Usually she'll leave that to Jasmine Jones and company. Brown played on the back row. Thompson over the block, and hopefully a nice dig by Chivita.
Oh, what a one-arm stab right there.
Bearcats up by 3, but trailed 2-1. And Brown will take this one.
A lot of momentum on that kill right there. Tabitha Brown on the outside, really wanting to finish this point, and she sure does a great job.
It's a rule. I was going to say that when you make a great play, you get to go serve. Obviously, that's not true, but service error subsequently. It's like in baseball, you make a diving catch, you get to lead off the next inning.
That would be nice.
So they give the point back on the service error into the net. That one down the line, but wide.
Abby Pugh again getting a nice set on this, hitting a slide just wide down the line.
And great to have everybody chiming in throughout the broadcast. I know Nicole's enjoyed reading some of your questions. Continue to vote on who your top student athlete has been in this matchup, as Nicole will have a chance to chat with the victorious player at the end of this match. Obviously, Bearcats hope that's not until after the 5th set, hoping they can win these next 2. And there's one of your front runners if the Bearcats can have a comeback. But right now, the Bearcats trail 2-1.
Do they ever have a
second place finisher?
Either a second place, if you don't win the match, if your team doesn't win, can you still be on the losing team and be the player of the game?
It's not unheard of. This is not how the fan vote tends to go.
Yeah, I understand that.
Thompson auditioning for setter. And easy forget about Kostelak. Souvenir ball.
I'll take it.
Shockers back within 3.
Yeah, Collings making a great play on this ball at the net. And she's had a lot of success pushing it towards their right side of the court, as she just did right there.
That is 33 kills, 8 digs, and 3 towels.
The 3 towels.
Calling with the serve. 4 kills, more importantly, 38 assists, 11 digs, the double-double today. Again, it's a Shockers team that goes from wanting a 5-1, then shifting to a 6-2 just because they had been struggling with ball control, and now back to a 5-1 out of necessity really today due to personnel. That's a bullet. That's just, I want it more from Alex Kuhn.
Alex Kuhn from the right side, finding some space down the line.
Kostelak denied her 15th kill. Brown into the block. Opposite pin. Kostelak in on the block.
Another great dig.
Oh, just some fantastic defense on both sides of the net from the liberos. And a ball that will carry wide over the net from Wichita State as the deficit will grow for the home team.
Defense is the name of the game. You have the better defending team. You're going to get a lot more points. And boy, we saw some great digs in that rally right there.
15th kill for Kostelak. Little change up from the Shockers. Nothing different in the game of Brown, though.
The only thing that might have been different is instead of her hitting a crush angle, she takes this one right down the line. Great turn for the point. Oh my gosh.
And that'll impede the Shockers as they try to close this gap here as we get closer and closer to the latter points for Cincinnati.
As a coach, you see that type of a play happen from that far off the net. That just shows that your defense isn't really watching the setter.
And the Bearcats steadily acquiring points here, trying to force it to that 5th set. Well, I don't think you can call this a trap game, as a 6-0 Bearcats team came to town, sure with a better record than the Shockers, but the Shockers certainly had their attention. But on the horizon for Cincinnati next week, we'll be hosting the 2 Florida schools, including USF and UCF. UCF, of course, unbeaten coming into today. We step aside from Wichita. Right now, those Bearcats lead by 5. It's a must-win set 4 for them to try to push it to 5.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Bearcats will break the huddle after Wichita State now slips behind Jordan Thompson and crew by 5. I mentioned Cincinnati has a non-conference matchup this Wednesday at Dayton in state. And they will host USF and UCF. That Sunday clash is obviously one that people have circled as a big matchup. That'll have implications for the championship, but Wichita State certainly would like to hang the first conference loss on the Bearcats right here. And Brown, that's the response you want coming out of the timeout from one of your leaders.
And Brown just unleashing her shot cross court. Last one she had was down the line, so she's keeping the Cincinnati blockers guessing for sure.
Reagan Steiwalt will come back out. She's another brother-sister combo in terms of in the athletics department for the Shockers. Brother Chandler runs track and field. And an ace. Back within 3. Kara Baum. They wouldn't mind a few more of those.
Second ace of this set.
And now it's Cincinnati calling a timeout, realizing what a critical time we're in. So we mentioned what's coming up for Cincinnati. The Shockers don't get the middle of the week off before next weekend, traveling to Texas. They'll go to Dallas to take on SMU, and then Houston on the backside on Sunday. This needs to be one of those photo hunts where every time we cut over, there's a little something different going on. But again, that Shockers match against SMU really should be a good one. It's a SMU team that graduated just like Wichita State. A lot of talent from last year. Combined, they have the last 3 titles in the American. I'm just pretending this isn't going on. As SMU,
yeah, you got this wired.
I will wake up tomorrow and just say it was all a dream. We're going to owe him royalties soon enough and have to create an IMDb page. Wichita State still has a chance to make this 4 and done. Great support from the community. We see this throughout the year. It certainly helps, though, when you capture championships on a regular basis and go to the NCAA tournament like Chris Lamb has been able to do. Bearcats called the timeout. Thompson comes from the middle that time.
Great play by Chivada in the back row for Wichita State. Little pancake to keep that rally alive.
Georgia Stilepi is going to come in for the Bearcats. The 6-foot freshman out of Athens, Greece. Probably feels right at home when she walks by all those Greek letters on all the houses around campus.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But Brown for Wichita State does what she does. Right through the block.
And again, Brown down the line, cross court, down the line, really mixing it up.
Back within 3. Williams up ahead to Thompson. And finally taking advantage of one of those floaters above the net. Really for the first time tonight.
And that's one of those digs that Chivada wants back. That was right in her wheelhouse, and she just kind of floated that one over the net a little bit.
Back set punched over. Williams with the diving dig. Left side, and that one gets a Bearcat on the way down. Kill from Kuhn.
Kuhn high off the block right there.
Abbey Pugh will hand over the service as Megan Grimes. They didn't have to spend much of the recruiting budget on Megan. She's from Wichita. I love that her high school is named Mays. Third swing coming up.
Oh.
Jordan Thompson can't find the court as Bound was able to get under it. Not the second time. Complimentary dribbles before takeoff. And a short-lived service for Thompson.
Brooke Smith really playing well tonight for the Shockers. Getting up quick, turning back. Oh, this one went right through the block. It's just real solid in the middle.
Thompson slows it down. The Shockers keep appearing to make progress, and yet you keep looking at the scoreboard. Now within 2.
Just creeping, 1 point at a time. Chip away.
Cora Calling able to save that one. Is that Tinglehoff who goes up and keeps it in play?
That was a great play at the net for the setter for Cincinnati to keep that ball alive. And then Jones just finishing that play out.
Back set to 9. A free ball for the Bearcats, and they return the favor, and the Shockers make them pay.
Steiwalt, she's going to take full advantage of a free ball over the net on this one and put that ball down.
Initially,
it's easy play right here.
As that time, I don't know if you noticed, Jordan got some coaching from Coach on how to use the towel. Look, I understand what Jordan's thinking about. She's already gone through a shoulder. She doesn't need to go out with a knee or an ankle just from slipping on a spot.
You'd be surprised how slippery it does get out there on the.
And it's her own fault because she's the one diving all over the place.
That is true. That is true.
Been fun to watch. Cincinnati has set point. Looking to push it to 5. Malin, the freshman, to close it out. Unlike the last set where there was no room for error, Bearcats have a little room to breathe and won't need it. Thompson puts it away. Bearcats have still not picked up a loss in conference play. We will go to 5, where it will be a sprint to 15 here in Wichita.
Thompson just finishing this last play out. When you know you need a point, you go right to your stud player. Thompson putting that ball down.
Kill number 36 for Jordan Thompson. Still not enough. They'll need more from their standout when the 5th set gets underway. Lincoln Rose, Adam Johnson with you here on the American Digital Network. And let's check back in with Nicole.
Well, if you're like me, you probably thought that there was a chance this match could go to 5 sets. That's what you get with 2 very competitive, very high-octane teams. These 2 teams are no strangers to 5-set matches. Wichita State is 3-1 in 5-set matches. They have wins over teams like James Madison and VCU. But Cincinnati is 5-2. They have 7 matches so far this season that have gone to 5 sets with some pretty notable wins. 1 over Florida State, 1 over TCU, and 1 over UC Santa Barbara. Now, you guys mentioned earlier in this broadcast that Coach Land said that this WSU team he has now has a lot more fight than it does in previous years. It looks like they're going to need it. Looking forward to set 5. Back to you guys.
And Nicole, thank you. So all of a sudden, Wichita State goes into the 4th set with A, momentum, and B, the chance to get rid of this matchup, close it out. Now we've talked about coin flip. It really is. You go into a 5th set, every point, every mistake is almost doubled.
Well, and you have, Cincinnati, you feel has the momentum going, but as we've been seeing, the momentum's been going back and forth. So if we're looking at it that way, Wichita State, I think, has the upper hand.
So again, a 5th set coming your way here on the American Digital Network. Cincinnati and UCF came into the day both 6-0 atop the standings. Wichita State with a big win on Friday is in the middle of the pack right now, battling for 3rd at 4-2. But this is a tight race. The top 5, top 6 teams in this league, and this one match could go a long way by the end of the season. See how it all plays out.
It definitely can, because the season is so long. Every single match is very important. This is critical time, 5th game right here.
Well, of course, we know by now who our marquee players are. Brown for the home squad Shockers, and a young lady by the name of Jordan Thompson, who is back on the bench where she was last year, but this year she's got that 23 back on her back and has been a big contributor.
I wonder if she's a Michael Jordan fan.
So, yeah, that I was joking with a crew member earlier. They were asking, is she number 23? I said, that's Jordan, in the red and black. These are the standings coming into today. Again, Cincinnati will see UCF 1 week from today after playing USF on Friday. And you see Wichita State, after beating ECU on Friday, has pulled level with the Pirates. Tulsa fell to Cincinnati the other day. All these top teams just beating up on one another. But that is the quality at the top of this league this year. I don't think you can count out a young and upcoming SMU team that graduated a lot of talent last year as well. In fact, we'll see SMU and Wichita State near the end of the season. So neither team has even been able to claim consecutive sets. That would bode well for Wichita State, of course. They took set 1, 25-23. They took set 3 in extras, 31-29. Bearcats took the even sets 25-20 and 25-21. So Bearcats have actually scored more points today. That's irrelevant. It's a clean slate going here into this 5th set.
Well, according to our games here, Wichita State should win this game.
Home court.
Home court.
Home court's the tiebreaker, right? As much as we talk about Thompson, you look at Erica Kostelak, 15 kills, hitting .452 today.
That's an unheard of hitting percentage for an outside hitter.
Brown wants a touch, won't get it. First point goes to the Bearcats after the Shockers had claimed the opening point in the last 2 sets.
And we're not seeing the green card come out this early.
Let's save that for critical points. So while it's 1-0, it probably feels like 2-0 now. They're not playing to 25, just 15. And of course, midway through, we'll swap ends. Kostelak briefly off the floor. Chivita. He has 24 digs here today, one of 4 Shockers in double figures in digs.
Uh-oh.
And this is where I didn't know if they were trying to relay a message to the up official.
I'm a little confused.
Our score is 1 apiece. No change there. So I don't know if a warning was issued. Thompson, no warning needed. You know it's coming.
There's a warning of incoming when it goes outside to Thompson. Just, it's going up and over the block right there of Wichita State.
Into the block. Shockers ready for the dump. Brown, her second swing of this rally. Thompson just needs 1. 3-1. And again, that's a significant lead right now. Got a flat tire, had to be addressed there.
Usually you do that when you've lost a couple points. Kind of take some time to slow the momentum down. Uh-oh.
And the Bearcats, only one time really today have we seen them take advantage of a ball like that. Thompson prefers the traditional pass, set, and kill.
That was interesting to see that play. A Wichita State player came way under the net, and you saw Jones looking over at the down ref saying, what's going on? I tell my players to kind of step on them and make a move. You know, it's just
slightly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got to force that call.
Time to go to acting school. I saw a couple football players this last weekend doing some good flopping. I mean, it was terrible.
It's becoming an international game.
I think so. They've been watching the soccer players all these years.
No offense to our Greece, Serbia, and Italian audience. Jordan Thompson. And that's one of the best outside hitters against one of the best liberos. And the victory for the 4th-year junior Thompson. Bearcats are a third of the way there. Shockers, to their credit, have not conceded one of those runs that have cost them in big matches. They're going to need a timeout here. Is Chris Lamb just going to rely on his veterans to right the ship? Shockers have not trailed by 4 points very often tonight in any set. And Brown will pull him back within 3. So Chris Lamb trusted his women, and Brown leading the charge. Tries to get them back on track here.
That was a great block by Brown to keep Wichita State alive.
A service error, though. And again, any mistake here in the 5th set costs exponentially more. Carli Nolan, preseason all-conference, now out of the match for the moment. And Thompson all by herself on that back row. Can't cover the ground.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Thompson wasn't really watching calling on that one. That's one of those plays that, in my opinion, can be very easily picked up if you're paying attention. I think Thompson was just looking at something else on the court.
And Shockers need a run, and that's not going to help. 8-4. Bearcats the first to 8 here in this 5th set. They'll swap benches just for the sake of fairness in case the air conditioning is blowing a little harder in one direction or the other.
There's been some schools that have been known to do stuff like that.
I think I detected the banners a little earlier up there in the rafters doing some swing. Jordan Thompson. She can fly into the wind or with the wind as she continues to lead these Bearcats. 8-4. And Cincinnati's just 7 points away from improving to 7-0. This is after Wichita State led 1-0 and more recently 2-1.
And the Shockers really just need to get back into their rhythm. Starts with a pass, as we've always said, and then take off from there.
You look in at, well, there's your core right there. Next to Williams, your 2 hitters. It is a 5-set match in which we've seen Jordan Thompson put 41 balls away. Kostelek with a modest 15 kills as well usually would be shining as with her numbers, hitting .452. Wichita State's been led by Tabitha Brown's 26 kills, 12 for Brooke Smith, your 2 in double figures. Smith is hitting .500. She herself has had a nice night here at home.
Does it say up there what Tabitha Brown's hitting percentage is?
Just a hair under 300, 299.
That's still pretty solid play right there.
Double-double, she's got 12 digs. And they're going to need her for this critical stretch. As a team, the Bearcats are hitting .335 on the road today. Shockers hitting .238 for the match. And the Bearcats trying to overcome 17 service errors. It may have cost them that 3rd set. Williams gets this one over cleanly. And it is going to be now 8-5. Shockers able to get that one over in front of the block.
Yeah, Brooke Smith again having a great match for Wichita State in the middle. Every time she's putting a touch on the ball, it seems like she's getting a point.
Thompson with the serve receive. We talked about those 41 kills for Jordan Thompson. That is a new record in the American for a match.
What record doesn't she hold? I mean,
and a service error from the Bearcats just to prove they continue to be human. Again, it's 1st to 15. Shockers can't just trade points down the stretch here. They'll go to Kostelek. Brown, just long, 10-6.
That was a great play by Abbey Williams for Cincinnati to see that ball was just out by about maybe a foot or so, and to have the great presence on the court to let that go.
And both these teams top 50 RPI. Well tested so far. And Thompson just continues to break her own record now for kills in a match. And there's the timeout for the Shockers. Shockers need essentially 9 points before conceding 4.
It's happened before.
You share. No, I know. We have seen
some of those I don't like to share.
We have seen
on the receiving end of being up and then being turned around. But yeah.
No, as much as you hear the cliche, 1 game at a time, 1 point at a time, it's true. Shockers here at home, a tested program, very capable if they can win the next point, start to put something together.
Well, it's really a mindset. You know, it's a mindset of getting that first pass. Then as soon as that's done, the set's got to be set to the appropriate hitter. The hit's got to go down. And as long as you're taking that mentality of just one little step at a time, things can happen. It's when you start putting everything into your brain that, well, okay, we got to get this pass, we got to do this, we got to do all this stuff. Then your mind can't really, you know, take that all in.
Bearcats continuing this road swing, victorious at Tulsa, and you saw how well Tulsa has played this year. They beat Tulsa on the road in 4 on Thursday. Had an extra day of rest, but while they were traveling, Wichita State's been at home. They toppled a very capable ECU Pirates squad on Friday. And this was one of those big matchups of the year that everybody's had an eye on. Has not disappointed, nor has Brown, though blocked that time. And the Shockers out of the timeout do get the point, back within 4.
Yeah, Tabitha Brown covering herself, allowing Brooke Smith in the middle once again for the Shockers to get up and put the ball away.
So Georgia with the serve. And it'll be an ace. Couple of points put together, back within 3. Here comes Wichita State.
Looks like Carli Nolan got caught off guard on that serve. Something that we haven't seen too often. Just got to watch that all the way in.
So Cincinnati, they are not going to just assume they can get the ship righted. They have a 3-point lead still intact. They will call a timeout here with the advantage. And they cannot allow those Shockers to mount a comeback here late. I don't think he has received any votes for that post-game interview, but it would be interesting.
You think he lives close? You think they've got a place for him on campus?
Yeah, if I'm remembering right, a dorm counselor over on the 2nd floor.
I remember my dorm counselor at SC. Whew. Didn't quite look like that.
I'm amazed you were allowed to stay on campus.
It was fun. You had to. Freshman year, you had to stay on campus.
As a reminder, keep voting for your top performer in tonight's match. Obviously, we've seen a record fall if the Bearcats prevail. 42 kills in this match from Jordan Thompson. Tabitha Brown with 26 of her own. Brown's Shockers trying to come back right now. Cincinnati called that timeout. Look forward to hearing post-game interviews with Nicole. Did I say the record was 42? I meant to say 43 kills by Jordan Thompson.
Just relentless. I mean, she's putting everything down that's going in front of her, and with some authority. It's not that it's just going down, it's some authority.
I think Jordan play a 5-set match is not going to be kind to many match records. Of course, it means 41 assists from Tingelhoff. Speaking of which, Thompson shares the wealth. Shockers really a must-win point, and they'll take it back within 3.
And then Tabitha Brown unleashing on the outside and getting back to all those records. Is it really fair if you go 5 games? Is, you know, if you're on a team that you beat everybody by 3 all the time and someone else takes 5, is it fair?
That's why we like
fair.
That's why we like averages. Not quite double-digit kills per set today for Jordan. Brown. Williams will get it started. Tingelhoff to Thompson. More of the same.
Yeah, Cincinnati running a little play on that. Looks like Thompson came inside, hit what we call a 2-set right over the first hitter.
One of our viewers, Julie, when you talk about SC, is under the assumption you played your volleyball at Southwestern College.
Yeah, something like that. Who's saying that? Come on. The University of Southern California.
Tingelhoff saves it. And the Bearcats make the most of it. She kept it playable at the net for Jasmine Jones. And the Bearcats are now 2 points away from coming back, having to win set 4 and set 5 to remain perfect in the American. Who else?
Great serve, nice pass.
And Thompson's service will be short-lived. Shockers not willing to concede the match point right there. Shockers with 10 service errors today, 8 fewer than the Bearcats, and can afford no mistakes from here on out. Match point comes on a service error and on a day when Jordan Thompson shatters the American record with 44 kills in a match. Cincinnati comes back from being down 2-1 on the road to topple the defending champions, and the Bearcats improve to 7-0 now in the standings at the top.
Not a way you want to end the match, on a missed serve.
There's a reversal of the storyline there for that match. Shockers are going to have to bounce back, and they will travel now to Texas to take on SMU in Houston next weekend. Bearcats are on the road still. They play Dayton on Wednesday before hosting the 2 Florida schools. And the vote is in, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. We're going to let Nicole unveil who your top player is today.
All right, thank you. I'm here with Jordan Thompson. 44 kills in a match. Did you know that that's a new American Athletic Conference record? I did not know that, actually, no. That's incredible, girl. I just want to ask you, I mean, how much did your redshirt year really prepare you to have this success this year?
Oh my gosh, when I say that I honestly now say that I'm thankful I got hurt, because to be able to see the game from the bench for an entire year really helped translate onto the court. So, I mean, I'm so thankful for that redshirt year.
Not many people can say that. You did have Tommy John surgery on your elbow. Yeah. And you also spent some time with the Olympic team.
Yeah.
The Olympic team. So what, in your opinion, is one of the best things that you've learned from your time with the Olympic team?
I think just adapting to play with all kinds of players and playing different styles of volleyball. I think just being able to adapt to when your coaches are telling you run a different defense, run a different offense, to be able to do that and really execute it, that's probably the biggest thing I learned.
Sure. And now I do have to ask you, and you probably get this question a lot. I know your father was a former Harlem Globetrotter, which is awesome in itself, but you wear the number 23, so are you a Michael Jordan fan?
Yeah, I'm actually named after him, so yes, that's correct.
Well, I had a feeling. Congratulations, Chick. You keep going. You're doing wonderful. Lincoln and Nick, back to you.
Nicole, thank you very much. Great to hear from Jordan. On 89 attacks, she hits 404 for the match. 9 digs, a couple of blocks as well, and yes, she had a pair of assists along the way, and she keeps Cincinnati atop the American hunt for the title. So what an outing it was. As let's check back in with Nicole.
All right, I'm here with Coach Albie. Now, Coach, obviously the big story here is Jordan Thompson and the amazing impact that she has on this team as well. 44 kills today. How does she continue to improve from here?
Well, I think, you know, as coaches, we're always going to critique. I think there are definitely some things that she needs to work on, and we'll keep developing her shot selection, you know. I think it's not only just about her offense. I thought she passed really fantastic tonight. So, you know, a lot of teams will try to attack her and make her do everything. So not just attack, but make her play defense, make her pass. And she really stepped up for us big time in passing tonight. But she was able to pass and attack out of it from the front row and the back row. She just all around did a really fantastic job.
Definitely, and it's not too often that you see someone who is 6'4" passing as well, and passing well, to be completely honest. But she also had some help from Erica Kostelak. I mean, she had a wonderful, wonderful assisting game here. What does she bring to this team?
Yeah, I mean, Erica's arm is live, and, you know, that's one thing that she does really well. She hits the ball, and she hits it hard, and I think you can see as a whole as the team, you know, Jordan and Erica had a fantastic match tonight, and you kind of go back and you look at all of our past matches, and you could say that about any one of our pins. You know, they all go off at different times, so it's a little bit hard to defend us. Then you can also look at the numbers that our middles put up when we get them involved in the offense, and they're also a threat as well. So I think we have a lot of versatility with what we can bring to the offensive game.
We're 7-0 now in the American Athletic Conference. What do you focus on in the next week of practice?
Oh, it's one match at a time, you know, and it is a long season. We talk about that a lot just as a coaching group for the American, and how do we keep the players focused for a long period of time? How do we keep them engaged for that long? Because it's a long season, and so I think you keep it simple for them, and you take one match at a time, and that's all you can do. And you give them rest, you know, that's one thing we'll try to do. We have a midweek match this week, so that'll kind of be our practice for the week, and I think that's the best way to do it. We'll see.
Well, you do have a long trip home for some well-deserved rest, let me tell you. Congratulations, Coach. Thank you very much. Lincoln and Nick, back to you.
Thank you, and that was win number 102 for Molly Alvey. That makes her the second winningest head coach for the program with the Bearcats. A comeback win for Cincinnati. They are now 7-0 in the American, one of just two teams unbeaten coming into today. For Nicole Fye and Adam Johnson on a day where we saw Jordan Thompson even surpass expectations, shattering the American mark with 44 kills in a match. I'm Lincoln Rose. A big thanks to our entire ADN crew as Cincinnati takes this one in Wichita, Kansas into a 5-set classic.